Page 66.
How many inhabitants are there in Mexico City?
I think there are about 5 or 6 million inhabitants in Mexico City.
Do you think there are many or few books in the library? Few monkeys in the jungle? Few people in Tokyo? Few rivers in the USA? Many cars in the country? Many inhabitants in Alaska?
Do you think there is much or little snow on Mount Popocatépetl? Much water in the Sahara Desert? Little money in the bank? Little coffee in South America? Much gold in Mexico? Much religion in the world?
Are there many Americans in Mexico City?
Are there many Mexicans in the USA?
How many times do you come to class each week?
How much money is Andrew borrowing from John?
Do you drink a lot of coffee?
A lot of. Much. Many. Page 67.
I am going to the U.S. next year.
How nice.
Are you going to the U.S. sometime next year?
Are you going to have a vacation sometime in the near future?
Do you sometimes speak English with your friends?
Do you sometimes find English hard to understand?
Do you sometimes cut cheese with a pencil?
I never cut cheese with a pencil.
Do you ever cut cheese with a pencil?
No, I never cut cheese with a pencil.
Do you ever feel cold in the summer?
Do you ever feel hot in the winter?
Do you sometimes feel wonderful?
Do you sometimes feel sad?
Do you sometimes feel tired?
Do you feel happy when you do something good?
Do you feel guilty when you do something bad?
Do you feel shame when somebody finds out an intimate secret of yours?
Do you feel nervous before an exam?
Do you feel sleepy after watching The Late Show on television?
Do you feel bored when you see a bad movie?
Page 68.
Ask and answer these questions.
Do you drink much coffee?
Do you drink a lot of coffee?
Do you put a lot of sugar in your coffee?
Do you drink your coffee with some milk?
Do you like your food with a lot of salt?
Do you put any pepper in any of your food?
Do you put any pepper in your coffee?
Do you like a hamburger sandwich with some mustard in it?
Do you like a hot dog without any mustard?
Do you eat a lot of bread?
Do you like toast bread with some butter on it?
Do you like a little jelly on your bread?
Do you like your eggs with little or much salt?
Do you like hot or cold coffee?
Do you like hot or cold milk?
Do you like a cold or warm soft drink?
Do you like any chili in your food?
Is chili hot?
Is pepper a little hot?
Do you like to have a lot of friends?
Do you like to read a lot?
Do you like to go to the movies very often?
Do you speak any French? Page 69.
The 18th lesson.
New York has more people than Havana.
Havana has fewer people than New York.
Does New York have fewer people than Havana?
Does Havana have more people than New York?
There are more cars in the city than in the country.
There are fewer cars in the country than in the city.
There is more coffee in the coffee pot than in the cup.
There is less coffee in the cup than in the coffee pot.
Page 70.
There is more money in the bank than in my pocket.
There is less money in my pocket than in the bank.
The small book is thicker than the large book.
The large book is thinner than the small book.
Is the red pencil longer than the green one?
Is the green pencil shorter than the red one?
Which country is larger, Cuba or the United States?
Which country is smaller, the United States or Cuba? Page 71.
A man is stronger than a woman.
A woman is weaker than a man. Is the English book larger than the geometry book?
No.
Is the English book smaller than the geometry book?
No.
The English book is as large as the geometry book.
The English book is as large as the geometry book.
Is the English book larger than the geometry book?
Is the English book smaller than the geometry book?
Is the English book as large as the geometry book?
Are there as many trees in the country as in the garden?
Are there as many cars in a town as in a city?
Is there as much coffee in the coffee pot as in the cup?
Is there as much money in your pocket as in the bank?
Does Havana have as many people as New York?
Can you speak English as well as Spanish?
Can you write with your left hand as well as with your right one?
Does a wristwatch cost as much as a car?
Do you like coffee as much as you do milk?
Page 72.
Ask and answer these questions.
Is Mary 5 feet 6 inches tall?
Is Tom 5 feet 10 inches tall?
Is Tom 5 feet 11 inches tall?
Is he 5 feet tall?
How tall is Tom?
How tall is Mary?
How tall are you?
Is Tom 4 inches taller than Mary?
Is Mary 6 inches taller than he?
Is Mary 4 inches shorter than he?
Is she 3 inches shorter than Tom?
How much shorter is Mary than Tom?
How much taller is Tom than Mary?
Is an elephant larger than a mouse?
Is a mouse smaller than an elephant?
Which animal is smaller, an elephant or a mouse?
Is the middle finger larger than the little one?
Is the little finger shorter than the middle finger?
Is the thumb thicker than the little finger?
Is the little finger thinner than the thumb?
Is a street wider than a car?
Is a pencil narrower than a table's leg?
Is your right arm as long as your left one?
Is your left leg as long as your right one?
Page 73.
The 19th lesson.
Is the pencil longer than the pen?
Yes.
Is the pencil longer than the chalk?
Yes.
The pencil is the longest of the three.
The pencil is the longest of the three.
Is the pencil the longest of the three?
Is the chalk the shortest of the three?
Is the pencil the shortest of them?
Is the chalk the longest of them?
Which is the shortest?
Which is the longest?
Which is the shortest month of the year?
Which is the longest day of the year?
Which is the largest country in the world?
Which is the biggest city in the world?
The airplane is the fastest of all.
The train is faster than the bicycle and slower than the airplane.
The bicycle is the slowest of all.
Which is the fastest?
Which is the slowest?
Can you travel faster by plane or by car?
A straight line is the shortest distance between 2 points.
What is the shortest distance between 2 points?
Page 74. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 93 miles. St. Louis, Missouri, 968 miles. San Francisco, California, 3,049 miles.
Is Philadelphia close to New York City?
Is San Francisco far from New York City?
Is St. Louis closer to New York than San Francisco?
Is St. Louis farther from New York than Philadelphia?
Is San Francisco the farthest city of them?
Is Philadelphia the nearest city? Is San Francisco 93 miles from New York?
No.
Is San Francisco 968 miles from New York?
No.
How far is San Francisco from New York?
San Francisco is 3,049 miles from New York. How far is Philadelphia from New York?
How far is St. Louis from New York?
How far is San Francisco from New York?
How far do you live from here?
How far is it from Mexico City to New York by jet?
How far is it from here to the center of town?
How far is it from Mexico City to Acapulco?
How far is it from Mexico City to Cuernavaca? Page 75. Joe is getting a good score.
Bill is getting a better score.
Tom is getting the best score.
Is Joe getting a good score?
Is Bill getting a better score than Joe?
Is Tom getting a better score than Bill and Joe?
Is Tom getting the best score of all?
Is he getting the highest?
Is Joe getting the lowest score?
Betty is getting bad grades.
Alice is getting worse grades.
Mary is getting the worst grades.
Who is getting bad grades?
Who is getting worse grades than Betty?
Who is getting the worst grades of all the girls?
Is Alice getting worse grades than Betty?
Is Alice getting better grades than Mary?
Who is getting the best grades?
Who is getting the worst score?
Can you speak English better now than last year?
Is it better to be strong than to be weak? Page 76.
Ask and answer these questions.
Does a 1-mile walk take less time than a 2-mile walk?
Does a 2-mile walk take more time than a 1-mile walk?
Does a 1-mile walk take more time than a 2-mile walk?
Does a 2-mile walk take more time than a 1-mile walk?
Which walk takes more time?
Which walk takes less time?
Does a 3-mile walk take more time than a 1 and a 2-mile walk?
Does a 3-mile walk take the most time?
Does a 1-mile walk take the least time?
Does a 1-mile walk take the most time?
Does a 3-mile walk take the least time?
Which walk takes the least time?
Which walk takes the most time?